Variety of choices for every taste. Good times, great service, and amazing food. Only at your locally owned Ground Round, Odland Road, Bangor.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, the Bangor school system is implementing new measures to keep its students safe. Our Devin Dagnall has more.
Learning can only happen when kids feel safe, and I think they do here. And I think the tools that we've identified and the things that we've put in place will only help line us up with the district.
The Bangor school system has completely overhauled how it's keeping its students safe. One of the latest changes the school system has made is partnering with Centegix, a company that is innovating how schools communicate within their own walls and with the authorities. Centegix produces cards roughly the same size as a credit card, with a single button on the front. According to Ray Finney, Bangor's school safety director, the button allows teachers to more efficiently send notifications to officers of any threats that may be in the school.
This is actually very easy in that they will pick up their lanyard that they all wear, they'll take their card, push a button multiple times, and it automatically calls.
When the button is pressed 3 times, it will alert the administration of any low-level threats in the high school. Pressing the button 9 times will immediately notify authorities that there's a higher level threat.
According to Paul Butler, Bangor High School's principal, Bangor schools are the first schools in all of New England to implement the innovative Centegix cards.
It's kind of exciting to be on that leading edge, but it's, a reminder that we're in a new age of ensuring safety. So we've taken a new step to make sure we're as prepared as anybody to manage any situation that comes up.
In Bangor, I'm Devin Dagnall, reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Meanwhile, a Calais man pleaded guilty in Bangor District Court today to importing methamphetamine from Canada. Court records show 23-year-old Victor Sousa crossed from the U.S. into Canada via the Madawaska port of entry on July 2, 2019. When he re-entered the country a few hours later, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers discovered 93 pills hidden in his underwear. The pills had the word ICE imprinted on them and later tested positive for meth. Sousa admitted that he had gone to Canada to purchase the pills. He faces up to 20 years in prison and a lifetime of supervised release. Meanwhile, authorities arrested 2 people following an attempted traffic stop in the early afternoon on Tuesday. Penobscot County Staff Sergeant Roy Perry attempted to stop a vehicle for a traffic violation. According to Chief Deputy John Knapp, the vehicle sped up in an attempt to evade the officer. Staff Sergeant Perry was able to engage the occupants after the vehicle pulled into a driveway. Perry determined the driver, 29-year-old Mark Page of Dexter, was operating with a suspended license. One of the passengers, 41-year-old Anita Leo of Exeter, initially gave Perry a false name. She also had 4 active warrants for her arrest. Following a search of the vehicle, police discovered around 16 grams of suspected fentanyl and 1.6 grams of suspected meth, as well as an undisclosed amount of cash. Following the investigation, Leo was arrested for aggravated trafficking of fentanyl, unlawful possession of methamphetamine, and violation of condition of bail. Page was also arrested and charged with operating after suspension and violation of conditions of release. They're both being held at the Penobscot County Jail. Between inflation and high fuel costs, a lot of people are wondering how they'll afford to stay warm. Dan Lamparello has more on the new funding expected to bring some relief and whether it will be enough.
It's fill-up time for homeowners across Maine, and while the temperature is dropping, the price for each gallon is still way up.
Increasingly, members of Congress are hearing from families back home who tell them they're already behind in their heating bills.
Senator Susan Collins says with home heating oil costs up 17% from last year, action needed to be taken.
The bill as amended is passed.
This week, Maine's congressional delegation helped pass a bipartisan spending bill, which included $1 billion in additional funding for low-income heating assistance programs, $8 million of which will be coming here to Maine.
Do you believe it's enough? Is it going to go far enough to help some of the people who are in need?
So the funding will certainly help to eliminate that gap. Unfortunately, it won't eliminate it altogether, given how much prices have increased and the fact that more families are going to be eligible because of the increased prices.
Last year, Maine Housing says they were able to offer enough assistance for those eligible that was equal to about a full tank and a half more of oil. But because of the price of heating oil this year, they say that funding will only be enough for about a half a tank.
Of course, as the price of oil goes up and the amount of money stays the same, the amount of money doesn't go as far.
Scott Thistle with Maine Housing says applications for heating assistance are up about 10% compared to last year. The agency says this new funding will certainly help with that increased need, but they're hoping prices go down so they can assist even more.
With the price of heating oil where it's at today, we just don't, we're thinking we need somewhere in the vicinity of $32 million unless the price of heating fuels decrease dramatically between now and when we start to really need it.
Now, just a waiting game for many as we head into winter.
And that was Dan Lamparello reporting. Meanwhile, in the race for governor, Senator Angus King is formally endorsing Governor Janet Mills for re-election. King, an independent who caucuses with Democrats, says Mills has shown a bipartisan approach to solving problems for Maine people. He says the governor has worked to strengthen Maine's economy, expand health care, invest in education, and protect people during the pandemic. He says the tough decisions she had to make, like shutdowns and closures, saved thousands of lives from COVID in Maine.
Maine was the third lowest state in the country in cases per 100,000 people. And I think we were fifth or sixth in deaths per 100,000 people. I know some people's businesses were hurt during that period. But these decisions literally save lives. And the governor never quit.
Senator King also says a recent study from two very conservative organizations gave Maine an A for how it responded to the pandemic. Just days ago, Bruce Poliquin's campaign accused incumbent Representative Jared Golden of taking a $667 donation from the executive director of the group that red-listed Maine Lobster. Now the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee alleges Bruce Poliquin has hidden more than $140,000 in donations from donors that also supported that same group. The committee alleges at least 9 Poliquin corporate donors have also donated thousands, each to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and its work. The donors include Goldman Sachs, UBS, JP Morgan Chase, and General Electric, among others. The Poliquin campaign issued a statement saying in part, quote, "This is a ridiculous attempt to hide the fact that Jared Golden took cash directly from the leader of the Anti-Lobster Seafood Watch program. Bruce Poliquin is in no way even remotely connected to this terrible organization," end quote. Well, after being awarded a grant from the Maine Department of Education, the Schoodic Institute received a visit from the department's commissioner. Matthew Duranczyk has the story.
Maine Education Commissioner Pender Macon visited the Schoodic Institute in Winter Harbor Friday morning to spend time with students taking part in the Institute's Education Adventure program. The program was funded from the Maine Department of Education's Outdoor Learning Initiative. Macon says this type of learning is what works best for the kids.
I mean, this is exactly the type of learning experience that would stay with a person for the rest of their lifetimes. They are in beautiful nature, they are using technology, they're integrating writing, art, science, all of the skills that we want them to learn, and they're doing it all together at one time.
The program helps students learn more about nature topics, including climate change and mapping. This program received the funding from the state through the Maine Outdoor Learning Initiative. Schoodic Institute CEO and President Nick Fisichella says he's grateful for the opportunity.
And we're really thankful to the state of Maine for the Maine Outdoor Learning Initiative, which is helping to support schools and students coming here for this program and getting kids outside of the classroom, so beyond the walls of a classroom, to have these really meaningful learning experiences.
And while the Schoodic Institute does use online technology to help students learn, they also like to use the environment around them and draw pictures.
It's been great because they also get to be outside, and learning outside really helps them connect to the world around them.
And the kids love this hands-on learning.
It's been great, to be honest.
Being here has been really fun. It's good to learn about the nature that's around us and hiking and all these different trails.
It's been pretty fun. We've been learning how sciencey things.
Macon is excited for what's to come.
We are moving, into an exciting recovery phase from some of the hardest years we've experienced in public education. These are kids who are collaborating, they are outdoors, they're experiencing deep and meaningful learning, and so it's fabulous, and I'm full of gratitude.
Matthew Juroncic, ABC7 and Fox 22.
Dozens of Central Maine power workers are still across the border helping our neighbors to the north and east after Hurricane Fiona devastated the Canadian Maritimes. According to CMP, at its peak, more than 500,000 homes and businesses lost power in Nova Scotia. 32 linemen and 10 support staff traveled to the eastern tip of Nova Scotia to lend a hand restoring power there. The group tells us they've been working 16-hour days for much of the week.
They had a real strong low pressure system, the highest ever measured here with Fiona. Lots of trees and wires down, cutting and clearing roads. The Canadian armies and militaries up here helping us, assisting in major efforts where there's a lot of devastation. But, it's nothing we haven't seen before. We're chipping away at it little by little.
Tells us people in the area are staying positive and customers are thanking crews for their help. He says one group even got a standing ovation while leaving a restaurant. The group from Maine began their work on Monday. They are not sure exactly when they'll head back to Maine, adding they plan to stay there until the job is done. Definitely kudos to them for going up and helping out all those people who need to get the power back on. Back here in our area, things looking pretty calm, a little chilly out there, but what's to come? We'll turn things over now and take a first look at our forecast.
Thank you so much, Peter. Our first weather is brought to you by Goose River Farm Meat Store. All right, so temperatures were looking nice earlier today. 64 as a high temperature in Bangor, a little bit cooler by Bar Harbor. Coming in at 60 degrees, Rockland, bit cooler, 57. But overall, we did have some near average or above average temperatures all across the state. And warmer weather will be sticking around with us for quite a bit. Our average closer to 65. Then Saturday, 65, near average. Look what happened Sunday, 56. So we start to cool down, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we start to warm up, and temperatures come close to average back into the 60s. Mostly cloudy skies in general, mostly to the south, partly cloudy where we're at in Bangor. Most of these clouds are associated with Hurricane Ian in South Carolina. I know it's a far ways away, but these clouds are stretching all the way north. Overnight tonight, though, we'll see some cloud cover and temperatures cooling off into the 40s. Peter?
Alrighty, Conrad, thanks so much. We'll check in with you again soon. And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, the Department of Transportation considers whether to strengthen the Deer Isle Causeway. We'll tell you why. And the Maine CDC warns people to be on the lookout for deer ticks, which they say are especially active this time of the year. We'll have all those stories and much more after this.
When it looks the part, but isn't the real thing, that's fool's golden. Jared Golden promised he'd be an independent fighter against Biden's spending, but then cast a deciding vote for Biden's newest spending bill that experts say will hike taxes $1 billion on those making under $50,000. Golden may think we're fools, but his recent vote shows Mainers what he's really made of. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
The auto business has had its share of challenges over the last couple years. If you'd like to get behind the wheel of a new Toyota faster, here's a key tip.
With the current shortage, will I be able to get the exact vehicle that I want?
We'll check our latest allocation and we'll let you know what models are arriving soon. You may need to be a bit more flexible on the color and options, but we'll do our best to find the vehicle you want. Pre-ordering will ensure faster delivery. As always, we sincerely appreciate your business. All roads lead to Down East on Wilson Street in Brewer.
I've been having foot pain for at least 10 years.
The first day I put the key boot on, I could tell the difference. My pain level has been so much better. I was amazed. The key boots made it possible for me to actually walk without pain. I can go shopping, walking around the store without wanting to cry. I mean, I feel like dancing sometimes. The key boots made all the difference. Very happy with it. Comfort shoes, it's just changed my life.
With the NL East title up for grabs, Lindor and the Mets battle Acuna Jr. and the Braves. It's Baseball Night in America, Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
Who wants a turnaround high five?
Watch the road.
Fox Sunday.
Why don't you take a walk, get a little exercise?
Take a trip with your favorite animated families.
Okay.
It's a night full of adventure.
It's like driving really slow, but with a lot more effort.
All new Fox Animation Domination. See it first Sunday on Fox.
Welcome back. We hear a lot from fire departments in the state talking about needing more recruits. Well, today the Penobscot County Fire Academy added more than 24 new firefighters to the mix to help fill the ranks. The Academy's class of 2022 graduated this afternoon at the Bangor Fire Department training facility. 26 new firefighters and all told graduated after an intense training program that started back in June and first included online learning before transitioning to hands-on training. Academy Director Chad Bean says it's only the beginning for these recruits.
This is the foundation of any firefighter's career right here. This gives you the basics. This doesn't make you an experienced firefighter by going through our program. This gives the foundation that we need to be able to build upon. So as you work through your career, you can just continue to build and build and build and be the very best you can be by the end. By the end.
Several departments were represented in this year's class, including Bangor, Orrington, East Millinocket, and Eddington, to name just a few. The Department of Transportation is considering whether to strengthen the Deer Isle Causeway to protect it against rising sea levels. As Craig Colson reports, some believe it's also an opportunity to help boost marine life in the area.
It's hard to beat the view from the Deer Isle Causeway on days like today, but when the weather is severe, the water can cover the road with rocks and debris, forcing it to close. That can cause big problems for residents, and is also why the state is considering strengthening the roadway to prepare for rising sea levels over the decades ahead.
One interesting idea came up at a recent meeting from a local fisherman. He thinks it would be a good idea to raise a portion of any future causeway above the water to allow any baby scallops or other sea creatures to come from that side of the bay to the other.
If we can get a bridge across part of it to allow that cooler water from the east main coastal current through and the larvae that it carries with it.
Marsden says there are hundreds of species of aquatic life that float in the currents before dropping to the bottom where they continue to grow. But they've been blocked from reaching the other side since the causeway was built back in the 1920s.
Getting things open back up, allowing, it to breathe.
Those environmental concerns will be considered as the DOT moves ahead with any future plan. In Deer Isle, Stonington, this is Craig Colson reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Well, there are some new updates on the Brewer River Walk expansion project. The Brewer River Walk expansion will add an additional 900 to 1,000 feet to the existing trail. The expansion will add improvements like Wi-Fi, security cameras, and more seating. Mayor Michelle Daniels says the project will give more people the chance to meet other members of the community.
I think it's just a place to draw everyone together and make you feel like a community. Everybody says good morning as you walk by. Even if you don't know each other, you are making friends along the way.
The project is expected to be completed by early October. Trees and flowers will be planted in the spring of 2023. Well, if you're someone who frequents Acadia National Park in the fall months, there are a number of construction projects kicking off that could impact your visit. Paving of the Park Loop Road starts October 11th. The affected stretch begins at the Sand Beach entrance station and goes to the end of the one-way at Stanley Brook Road. The project's various stages will extend through November. Depending on the weather, there will be temporary lane closures and some temporary restrictions for parking in the right lane on the Park Loop Road. A project at Sur-de-Mont Spring will consist of culvert work and paving at the entrance road. There will also be paving on Old Farm Road. Visitors should expect possible traffic delays due to traffic management, and they're asked to use caution and maintain a safe speed when approaching equipment and crews. While fall is a great time of the year for outdoor adventures and even just some outdoor work, it's also important to remember to be extra cautious when it comes to ticks. The Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention says adult deer ticks are especially active this time of year. They can carry Lyme and other illnesses that can be devastating to those who are bitten. In fact, the CDC says Maine is on track to break records for Lyme disease and other illnesses this year. And experts say fall is a time of year when people can get a little complacent.
We do tend to kind of let our guard down in the fall as those temperatures drop because we assume that all those biting pests are going away when its reality is just not the case. It's really one of our peak seasons for tick activity.
Dill recommends wearing protective clothing like long sleeves and pants if you plan to be in the woods or around shrubbery and leafy areas. Using a good repellent that contains DEET or other tick repellents is also a good idea. You can even treat your clothes with a tick repellent called permethrin, which Dill says works well and is long-lasting. It's also important to do tick checks after outdoor activities and not just lengthy outings.
Whether it be, going on a long hike or even it's something as simple as going to check the mail at the end of the driveway or drop something in the compost pile. Even those types of activities is something that we should be mindful of and conducting a tick check afterwards.
Also says to make sure your pets are up to date on preventative measures, the readily available Lyme disease vaccine, as well as flea and tick preventatives, which kill the pest and prevent them from hitching a ride indoors on your animals. If you see a bullseye rash on your skin and think you may have been bitten by a tick, you should seek medical attention right away. 10 p.m. news on Fox 22. Floridians are assessing the damage following a direct hit from Hurricane Ian as the storm now moving up the coast. And Vladimir Putin annexed 4 occupied territories, the largest land grab since the end of World War II. We'll have those stories and much more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Say goodbye to lag times and death spirals with our crazy fast fiber internet. At GoNet Speed, we've dropped our prices on fiber. That means hello to fast fiber internet starting at just $49.95 per month. Or go up to 1 gig, that's 1,000 megabits per second, for only $69.95 a month. The lowest prices we've ever offered. No contract, no hidden fees, no joke. Visit GoNetspeed.com to check availability in your area.
Who can you call when you need immediate help, any time of day or night? Always giving you and your family peace of mind.
AAA's legendary roadside assistance is a network with over 50,000 vehicles that respond to more than 32 million assistance calls every year.
If something happens and we're broken down, my family's not going to be stranded.
There are so many benefits to membership, and AAA is there if you're locked out of your car, need a tow, run out of gas, have a flat tire, or a dead battery.
If you have one flat tire or one battery service, that membership fee pays for itself.
Wherever you go, wherever you are, you can trust AAA to be there when you need them.
Join today and a full year of AAA membership is just $53. We'll waive the membership admission fee, and as a special bonus, you'll receive a 1-year membership for an eligible family member. Don't wait another second. Call to join AAA right now.
Start Saturday strong with America's #1 game, Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Wow! It all starts at 10 Eastern with Big Noon kickoff live from Iowa City. Touchdown, Michigan! Then, running back Blake Corum leads #4 Michigan's dominant ground game in a tough road test against Iowa. The best pregame, the best announcers, the biggest games. Michigan Iowa. All part of Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
As Hurricane Ian now churns through the Carolinas, those in Florida are assessing the damage the storm left behind, and rescue crews are continuing their work to help those stranded by the life-threatening storm surges. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from Fort Myers, Florida.
Hurricane Ian making its second landfall in South Carolina after leaving behind catastrophic damage in Florida.
Our steps are gone.
Ian making landfall near Georgetown, bringing sheets of rain, heavy winds, and dangerous storm surge before downgrading to a post-tropical cyclone.
Oh man, it's washing it away.
And it's not just areas along the coastline that are seeing the storm's effects. Officials warning the heavy rainfall will make its way from the Carolinas through Virginia over the next 24 hours.
Some places could get 12 inches of rain from what's left of Ian as we move inland.
Ian's second landfall much weaker than when it crossed Florida's Gulf Coast earlier this week as a powerful Category 4. The National Hurricane Center calling it one of the strongest storms to ever hit the U.S.
When you look at some of these things, like you see a house totally washed out, and it's just nothing but a concrete slab on Fort Myers Beach.
Residents returning to what's left of their neighborhoods, trying to salvage anything they can.
We've gathered a lot of stuff that is really valuable to us.
But in some areas, entire communities have been wiped out, unrecognizable to those who live there.
How are we going to recover? Because it's not just a few people, you know, it's an entire community that's affected by it. Everybody's really got to come together and help one another like we've seen everybody doing.
5,000 Florida National Guard members have been activated to assist in ongoing search and rescue operations. In Fort Myers, Florida, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Hurricane Ian is going to test an already severely challenged homeowner insurance industry in Florida. Fox Business's Jerry Willis has details.
Damage claims from Hurricane Ian are expected to total $40 to $60 billion, according to industry experts. The state's insurance market is taking a blow, making recovery even more difficult for homeowners eager to start repairs.
There were a couple of issues at work here. There was excessive litigation. There were fraudulent roof schemes which were commonplace. And so you came into the hurricane season, the 2022 hurricane season. The state of Florida had a lot of issues going on having nothing to do with natural disasters.
At least 6 insurers closed this year before Ian made landfall, and another 30 are on the state's watch list due to financial instability. All this even as Florida has missed a direct hurricane hit in recent years. Damage claims from Ian will strain remaining insurers, including the state-backed operator Citizens, once insurer of last resort, but now the industry leader with 1.3 million policyholders. Already, the state has the highest insurance premiums in the country, more than double the national average, and experts are bracing for even higher premiums in the wake of Ian. But even though Citizen has deep pockets, it may not be enough to make homeowners whole. That's because the vast majority of damage left in the wake of Ian is due to flooding, and only 18.5% of homes in counties where people were told to evacuate are covered by federal flood insurance policies. Just as other major hurricanes have become political footballs, Ian may do the same. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Charlie Crist already criticizing incumbent Ron DeSantis for not fixing the ailing insurance market before Ian's landfall. Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Meanwhile, Russia's war in Ukraine reached a dangerous and critical moment as Russian President Vladimir Putin signed treaties to illegally annex a large part of eastern and southern Ukraine. Countering almost immediately, Ukraine's president applied to join the NATO military alliance. All the while, President Putin still vowed to protect the newly annexed regions by, quote, all available means. Fox's Trey Yingst has more from Kyiv.
Under the guise of legitimacy and the kind of pageantry needed to convince people he's winning the war, Vladimir Putin signs decrees making 4 Ukrainian regions part of Russia. Putin was joined by the 4 appointed leaders of the occupied areas and delivered a pointed message to Ukraine.
I want Kiev to listen to me. Kiev and its real masters in the West. All people living in Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia became our citizens forever.
Speaking before the Kremlin, Putin accused the West of sabotaging the Nord Stream pipelines and for setting a precedent of nuclear weapons use. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken quickly rebuking the allegations of sabotage in the Baltic Sea.
I really have nothing to say to the absurd allegation from President Putin that we or other partners or allies are somehow responsible for this.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also responded to Putin's speech, saying his country is applying for NATO membership.
Today, Ukraine is submitting an application under an accelerated procedure consistent with our ongoing protection of our entire community.
Ukraine's Western allies offering support, with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg calling Putin's actions illegal and illegitimate.
NATO allies do not and will not recognize any of this territory as part of Russia.
The annexation of territory is widely seen as an escalation in the ongoing conflict, and as Putin vows to protect the citizens of his seized territory, his troops keep slaughtering them. This morning, 25 people were killed when Russian missiles targeted a humanitarian convoy in Zaporizhia, a region Putin now claims to control. This war is quickly unraveling with nuclear threats on the table. The more Putin escalates, the more difficult it becomes to step back from the brink of a wider conflict. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, students at St. Michael's traded their school supplies for yard tools as part of their annual Day of Caring. And in sports, Tyler Cruz has all the action from Friday Night Football. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Sunday's NFL coverage starts with Fox NFL Kickoff at 11, then Fox NFL Sunday at noon. Loaded with talent. The best NFL pregame shows are only on Fox.
Janet Mills's education department was teaching kindergartners radical transgender policies. Now it's pushing a curriculum telling students they're racist if they use certain terms. All lives matter, mass incarceration, calling the police on black people, all racist. Janet Mills closed our schools and our kids fell behind. And now she's pushing her radical education agenda. No more politics in schools, no more Janet Mills. The top funder of the main Republican Party is the Republican Governors Association.
Dude, can you believe we're graduating? And they helped us find a great job. Soon we'll be living the dream.
Exactly. I'm incredibly grateful for Maine Job Corps. If it wasn't for them, I'd be working an entry-level job and barely making it.
Let Team Maine Job Corps help find the career that's right for you. Call 561-8516.
Behind every keepsake, there's a memory. Behind every photo, there's a story. Behind Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration, there's people giving back by bringing back what was thought to be lost. The details, the time, and the expertise, all packaged up behind a name that Mainers have trusted for over 35 years. Statewide commercial and residential services. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories. We'll handle the rest.
Don't believe the lies from Washington's special interests. Jared Golden's a different type of Democrat. I respect that Jared served in the Marines. Jared's a friend of law enforcement, and we definitely can trust him to keep our communities and families safe. Jared is standing strongly against defunding the police.
This endorsement was not a given. Congressman Golden's earned it.
Mr. Golden will definitely fight for us and be in our corner and have our backs, absolutely.
I'm Jared Golden, and I'm honored to approve this message.
Welcome back. Well, it wasn't a typical school day for students at St. Michael's in Augusta. They traded their books and pencils for rakes, rags, and work gloves as part of the United Way's Day of Caring. Younger students helped clean the school building, garden and schoolyard, and others cleaned inside the church. Older students brought the day of caring off school grounds, cleaning up St. Mary's Cemetery, while others did yard work at Lithgow Library. The school says it's a busy day, but one that's meaningful for students. The United Way Day of Caring is an annual event that celebrates the spirit of service. Well, meanwhile, students at Holden Elementary School were in for a treat this afternoon. For the past 6 years, Holden police have celebrated their 25 Days of Kindness. During the 25 days, community members have donated money and a variety of gifts. As part of this year's 25 days, Holden police bought the entirety of Holden Elementary School ice cream.
For the last 6 years, the Holden Police Department's done what we call 25 Days of Kindness. Funds are generated. Last year, close to $12,000 that we re-gifted every single dollar. This year, it looks like it's going to be on track for even more than that. We've gotten some money already. Some of that money we took today to buy ice cream for these kids.
And with the abundance of donations, Holden police were able to offer the extra treat outside of December when it is usually held.
Tell me what the best ice cream is, all right? All right, starting with you.
Twist. Chocolate. Twist.
Donations to 25 Days of Kindness can be made by contacting the Holden Police Department. For many veterans, even after they depart their service, the connection to the military never fades. One trailblazing Maine veteran got to spend a very special birthday being honored by the branch with which she served. Meet newly minted centenarian Florence Manchester Smith. She's a World War II Coast Guard veteran and Jonesport native, and she turned 100 years old this week and celebrated the milestone with her fellow Coast Guard Sector Northern New England and Station Jonesport members. Smith joined the Coast Guard SPAR unit 79 years ago in 1943. They were the all-female workforce that was mobilized in World War II to fill jobs on the mainland, freeing up men to fight abroad and at sea. SPAR is an acronym that stands for the Coast Guard's motto, Semper Paratus, always ready. Smith was the first SPAR from Jonesport, and she served in multiple roles, including transcribing confidential paperwork. When she married her husband, she received a convenience discharge since married women were not allowed to serve in the military at the time. She remained connected to the Coast Guard station in Jonesport ever since, and this week at the station, Smith was presented with a letter of appreciation and a coin from Admiral Linda Fagan, the commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard. When asked, "What do you think of women in the military?" Smith said, "Oh, I love it. Someone told me once I was a pioneer. I guess I am." I think a lot of us are they would definitely agree with that. Certainly a pioneer and a trailblazer for many, and we wish her all the best. And still to come, our full 5-day forecast is coming up next, so stay with us for that.
Temperatures are warm outside, near average or slightly above, but cooler weather is on the way. When? I'll have the answers and more coming up.
Welcome to Rebecca's. For over 30 years, we've been serving our local customers in downtown Bangor, and we invite you to explore our historic shop.
Rebecca's carries many Maine-made products from local artisans. Perhaps you need a gift basket for your next celebration. We'll be glad to help. From blueberry ceramic dishes, gourmet foods featuring Stonewall Kitchen, fine wines to antique dishes and furniture. You're sure to find that perfect gift.
We hope to see you soon at Rebecca's.
It's been a great summer at Dorsey Furniture, but it's time to start thinking about fall. Our new fall introductions are arriving daily and we need to make room. This means big discounts on selected items. How big? Half off. We didn't stop with just a few items. We have marked down every item in every department. Come to Dorsey Furniture during our fall clearance sale and you won't be disappointed. Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A, Holden.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Pound the pavement for Cancer Awareness Sunday, October 9th at the Sea Dog on the Bangor waterfront. Register at runsignup.com. Goodie bags given to the first 200 people to register. Visa gift cards are randomly hidden in goodie bags. You could win $25 or even $100. Fundraise $150 and get a limited edition t-shirt. All proceeds stay in our community. Pound the Pavement, sponsored by the Sea Dog, Ice Pick Vodka, ABC7 and Fox 22, and the Purple Iris Foundation. Register now at runsignup.com.
Losing someone is never easy.
911, Monday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
And happy Friday. Welcome back. It's the last day of September, and our main weather today is brought to you by Varney Ford in Newport. They give 1 full year maintenance on every new and used vehicle they sell. Come visit them and see their huge selection of cars and trucks. The nice car and truck people. All right, and it's looking nice outside today. Partly cloudy skies where we're at. A couple more clouds to the south. Most of this is associated with Hurricane Ian. It is going to stay well to the south of us, but taking a look now, Hurricane Ian, now a post-tropical system, made its way. It did hit South Carolina, Georgetown, just 60 miles away from Charleston. So lots of locations down south are dealing with the rain. Florida had double-digit rainfall totals, close to 2 feet. So now it's a weaker storm, but still producing lots of rainfall and clouds extending all the way to Bangor. So I know it's a massive system. Cloud cover will be sticking around with us the next couple of days. Will be partly to mostly cloudy associated with this Hurricane Ian's cloud cover, but for the most part, all of the precipitation will be well offshore. We might see a couple of sprinkles, especially closer to the coast tomorrow into Sunday, but in general, we will be in the clear. Just a few passing clouds. Temperatures, though, let's talk about those. Some cooler weather, still some fall-like temperatures, 50s and 60s in our area, but most of the heat is now in the center of the country. The Midwest, upper Midwest, the South, same thing in the West. So don't worry, warmer weather will be back. We're all going to be in on some warmer temperatures, pretty much like today. We had high temperatures slightly above average in Bangor, coming in at 64 degrees. A bit cooler by the coast, a couple of 50s and 60s. But still, don't hide those short sleeve shirts just yet. The water is still a little bit on the warmer end. So it is still good enough to go swimming, but it will continue to cool down. Look at the temperature of the waters down south. They're in the 80s, so the water is hot. So that Hurricane Ian, when it came from Florida and when it did hit South Carolina, the waters were well above average. Really warm waters helping it continue to stay together. Now, since it hit land, it is post-tropical, still having some warnings by the coast. There's still lots of storm surge, so we're not in the clear yet, but lots of rainfall stretching all the way across the northeast. So this is a major hurricane. It was a major hurricane, produced lots of devastation in Florida, South Carolina, and all of the coasts. Here in Maine, though, temperatures will be around 43 degrees with mostly cloudy skies overnight tonight. And our extended forecast outlook does show nice weather sticking around into next week before more chances of showers by Wednesday. Peter?
Alrighty, so that 5 days still looking really good with sunshine all across the board. Thanks so much, Conrad, and we'll have sports coming up next with Tyler, so stay with us.
You can always tell where Bruce Poliquin's been, hanging around Washington politicians and the special interests that fund their campaigns, like big oil and drug and insurance companies. Poliquin leaves a bit of Washington everywhere because he's covered in it, supporting special tax breaks for big corporations and more government spending. No matter where you see Bruce Poliquin, you know he's always heading back to the swamp. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
General Rental Center has been serving Central Maine with equipment and tool rentals for more than 30 years. Our extensive inventory contains everything you need to get the job done right. Our professional, knowledgeable staff is here to make sure that you get the highest quality rental items to complete your project and that they have been serviced and maintained to the highest standards. Power brooms to get that sand off the lawn, leaf blowers, brush chippers, stump grinders, aerial lifts, tillers, and excavators. We rent most everything. If you don't see it in our online catalog, please ask for it. If we don't have the item you need, we would be happy to help you find it.
It takes all types to play Family Feud. The sensible brother.
What would you do if you found the top half of a bikini? Spell it.
The Showstoppers. The Cooks.
Give me a seasoning a chef might name his daughter.
Nutmeg.
Don't do that to your baby.
See who shows up all season on Family Feud.
Weeknights at 7 on Fox 22.
Everything I did for my family.
The Cleaning Lady, Mondays on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Friday was a busy night around the state of Maine. A lot of good football matchups to bring you from all over the area. We've got 6 games coming your way right now. Who's ready? First quarter, we are going to check out Sanford and Edward Little down in Sanford. This one's going to start in the first quarter. L.J. McFarland taking the handoff into the end zone for a 6-0 Sanford lead. Here come the Spartans doing it again with the defense, too. It's Jake Dowdy with the interception here as he takes it all the way in for 6. MDI wasting no time getting on the board. Actually, I'm ahead of myself here. Our next game is MDI. The Spartans would win 48-8. MDI at Ellsworth. And the Trojans are wasting no time getting on the board right here. It's a shuffle pass. Finds Alex Gray, who muscles his way in for the score. And then later, a big play here for Jacob Shields. He takes the quick screen from Spencer Lorendo, and another Trojan score. They go on to win it. A big win for MDI. Let's go on to Dexter and Orono right now. We are going to start with Dexter. This game was crazy. It was all over the place. Dexter with the ball here. Look at this play from Bryce Connor. He finds his man, Caden Kimball, who goes all the way down the field for the touchdown. Tigers would win 38-34. Let's go to Belfast. Nokomis and Belfast going at it on Belfast homecoming. First drive here for the Warriors, and they were airing it out. Grady Hartsgrove, he finds Madden White on the sideline for a 50-yard toe-tapping catch for 50 yards, and then immediately the next play call. Why don't we just go after him again, right? Grady for White again, and a beautiful basket catch right in the end zone for a touchdown. 40-16, Nokomis wins. Let's go over to Herman now. Herman hosting Hamden Academy in a Class C matchup. Herman on defense, Jack Johnson going to keep it on the option, but it's a fumble, and the Hawks defense is right there. They forced the fumble. Gary Glidden off to the races. That's his second touchdown of the game. That's a fumble 6 right there. Herman dominant. They win 59-12. All right, let's head over to Husson University now, where Foxcroft is playing John Bapst. The Ponies driving down the field here. It's Wyatt Rayfield, the quarterback, slinging it. And look at this play from Caden Crocker going up and getting it. That is a great catch right there. He tumbles onto the goal line, and that sets this up. A little toss to Jaden Richard, and the Ponies would go on to win this one 48-0. All right. We are going to move things down to Boston right now with some news out of the Garden. Some good news if you're a Celtics fan. I wanted this to happen a few years ago, but it's better late than never, I guess. Per ESPN, Boston and Blake Griffin have agreed to a 1-year contract. Griffin, no longer the freak athlete that notoriously jumped over a car to win the dunk contest, but he does provide some much-needed front-court depth for Boston. He can give Al Horford and Rob Williams some much-needed rest. And an interesting stat here, he was a league leader in charges taken last season, so the exact type of guy the Celtics like to have on defense. All right, we are going to stay with some basketball here, and we are going to head up to Orono, where the Black Bears are gearing up to defend their title as regular season champs. Maine opened up practice this Tuesday. Officially, that is. They were able to spend 8 hours a week together in the summer. And they say that time together was huge. Anyways, the Black Bears ended last season 1 game short of the NCAA tournament, losing to Albany in the conference finals after rattling off 16 wins in a row. Their goal this year is to break through that barrier.
Always playing or practicing to end up playing in a championship game. And I just think, this year again, just with all our returners back, we know we have unfinished business, so we're ready to go.
I mean, obviously it's not fun. We all would have loved to win that last game, but so for sure it's some motivation. But I mean, it's a new season. We have multiple new players coming. We also have a lot of old players, but we're just excited to begin. Excited to start playing games again. It's been a while.
Maine only lost 2 players from last year. Both were starters, but they have a good core returning, as well as 5 newcomers when you count freshmen and transfers, including 2021 Miss Maine basketball, JC Christopher from Skowhegan, who's been training with the Black Bears since July, and she says there's a lot to learn, but she's excited to get going.
It's been really exciting being on campus. I got here at the end of July, and it's been really great just to be able to be with the team and be working out together. There's a lot to learn as a freshman coming in, defensively and offensively, but I feel like we've made pretty good progress, and I'm just really excited.
All right, let's stay with the University of Maine here. A big matchup for field hockey on Friday afternoon on the road against UMass Lowell. Maine looking for their 6th straight win. On the other end, UMass Lowell looking for their 7th straight win. 2 of the hottest teams in the nation right now, never mind America East. First quarter here, Mia Borley flashing the stuff early. She's going to extend to make a save on this shot from Madison Leeper to keep the game scoreless, and that is how we'd go into halftime. Let's move things on now to the third quarter. Lowell on the penalty corner, but it's Borley again coming up clutch. She's going to pick up 2 saves in a 10-second span and keep us scoreless until really just under 3 minutes to play, just over 2 minutes to play. The Black Bears would get going. Off the corner, Poppy Lambert takes the pass from Chloe Walton. She fires it into the back of the cage. Borley would hold for the final minute, and Maine extends that win streak. 1-0 is the final. All right, a big week for high school hockey in Maine. Construction at the Travis Roy Ice Arena for North Yarmouth Academy is way ahead of schedule. The new expansion and renovations should be completed later this spring, but the ice arena will remain open through construction. Eventually, there will be a state-of-the-art seating for fans, brand new locker rooms, and a warm room for folks to watch all of the games. Now, earlier in the week, all of the students, faculty, and coaches, everyone involved, signed the final beam for the new Wellness and Fitness Center. Then during the ceremony, the beam was hoisted into place, signifying a big step forward in this massive project.
It's going to be about 8,000 square feet addition in total, which will include a fitness center so all of our students can pursue their fitness goals, and then also a wellness center where there will be, open space, classroom space for mental wellness activities, mindfulness, meditation, other classes. So it's going to add a lot to our program as well.
Looking forward to see what that looks like. That is all the time we have for sports. We will be right back after the break.
The Sebec Lake House proves that Days World is ready for any challenge. The client had very high standards for this entire project. You can tell by Sebec Lake actually being in granite in the floor. Days World had to match those high standards, and we did with the Mitsubishi electric equipment that we carry. They didn't want any diffusers on that first level.
You cannot see the diffusers anywhere, just like they promised. We trusted Dave's World with this project, and we're very pleased with the results, and I'd highly recommend them.
When it looks the part, but isn't the real thing, that's Fool's Golden. Jared Golden promised he'd be an independent fighter against Biden's spending, but then cast a deciding vote for Biden's newest spending bill that experts say will hike taxes $1 billion on those making under $50,000. Golden may think we're fools, but his recent vote shows Mainers what he's really made of. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Say goodbye to lag times and death spirals with our crazy fast fiber internet. At GoNet Speed, we've dropped our prices on fiber. That means hello to fast fiber internet starting at just $49.95 per month. Or go up to 1 gig, that's 1,000 megabits per second, for only $69.95 a month. The lowest prices we've ever offered. No contract, no hidden fees, no joke. Visit GoNetspeed.com to check availability in your area.
Check 1, check 2. The store's appearance may have changed throughout the years, but its dedication to our community and families has not wavered. We will still welcome you with a smile and top-notch service. If you need coffee,
check.
Tasty treats,
Check.
freshly made pizza, check. Or wine and spirits,
Check.
stop by and fill up your tank and check us out.
The bond between twins is a close one.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war.
As day is tonight.
Would you like me to introduce you to algebra? Ow who? Oh boy.
And wrong is to right.
They both say weird kid who eats alone.
You can't have one without the other.
I need my own space. But we've always shared a room. I have a training bra. When you complete your training, get back to me.
Young Sheldon.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22. Put a little more cash in your bag. Save money with half-off deals at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back. The makers of one of America's favorite cookies had a very good snicker at making cookie fans discover what the next cookie flavor is. Oreo's newest cookie variation is called Snickerdoodle. The popular cookie makers have taken the classic cinnamon-flavored cookie and made it their own, complete with green and red Christmas crystals. Oreo teased fans by making them guess what the new flavor was with a secret code tweet. Snickerdoodle will hit store shelves on October 17th. The engagement ring for the pumpkin spice lover. Take a look at this. It's called the Pumpkin Spice Engagement Ring, courtesy of Angelic Diamonds in England. The company says the ring is inspired by, quote, every single detail of the beloved pumpkin spice latte. It comes complete with a rose gold band that is fashioned to look like the rib shape of the pumpkin. The center diamond is described as, quote, whipped cream shaped and is surrounded by a cluster of white diamonds and orange sapphires. If you're looking to purchase the fall-inspired sparkler, be warned, it will set you back about $10,000. Certainly a very beautiful ring, I would say, very pretty, and I guess maybe just the right fit for a pumpkin spice lover out there. I think I would gear more for the Snickerdoodle cookies myself, but that's just me. All right, well, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 10.
Robach.
And I'm David Muir from all of us here at 2020 and ABC News. Good night.
We're honored ABC's 2020 winner of 3 Emmy Awards for excellence. Thank you for making 2020 Friday night's most watched and most honored news magazine.
Celebrity Jeopardy is the perfect combination of brain power and star power. Let's hope they've been reading more than screenplays.
Celebrity Jeopardy, hosted by Mayim Bialik. New Sunday on ABC.
This is ABC 7 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight.